Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. In this video today, I'm going to show you the different pouring techniques that I used on these three coasters because I got three completely different results using the exact same resin mixes. I've been kind of experimenting and I wanted to see what would happen with these three different pouring methods. So you can see I got three completely different coasters. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is in that center one, I'm putting some clear down first, and I'm just going to spread it around, get it covering the whole bottom of the coaster. And then in the coaster on the right, I'm going to be doing a puddle pour. The coaster in the center, I'm going to be doing a ring pour, but as you can see, I put the clear down first. And then the coaster on the left, I'll be doing a ring pour, but I did not put the clear down first. So we'll see what results come from each of the different types of pours. But it's really interesting that they're completely different. So I'm using the exact same resin mixes for each one. So these first two are just mica powders. And I've got like a sky blue and then a turquoise. And then right now I am pouring a white, and that's just some Blanco from Piñata. There's about 20 drops or so in that little cup. So I'm just pouring that in. I'm also using just some clear to kind of spread it out a little bit. And then going back in with the mica. Now I've done the ring pours in the past and I've put a couple layers of the mica and I've gotten some different results. So I'm going to do another video where I test doing multiple layers or just one. This brown is a metallic brown alcohol ink. I wanted to see what would happen if that would show up at all. So I'm doing a little bit more of the mica. And this is, like I said, this is a different layering than I have done in the past. So I'm going to do a side-by-side on those with that other technique because it's just so interesting to me how you get such different results just from pouring a little bit differently. Heat gun. And using heat is really important, especially if you're using mica. I don't know about your resin, but my resin, it's a little bit on the thicker side and it releases bubbles really well, except with mica powder. I use Naked Fusion resin, and it seems like with mica, the bubbles rise a lot more slowly, and I find that a lot of times I've got bubbles on the tops of the coasters. So I don't show it in this video, but I come back in after I cover them up. I come back in probably 5 or 6 times and go over it with the torch. Now, I do not like using a torch. I prefer to use a heat gun, but if there's this much mica in a coaster, I've found that I have to use the torch to really release those bubbles. Otherwise, the heat gun just doesn't do it when there's this much mica. So if you're using Naked Fusion and you have a different method, please comment because I would love to know if there's maybe a better way to get those bubbles out. I let it sit for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I don't let it sit for a super long time. But I'm just curious if there's another way to get those bubbles out. And then with my leftover resin, I like to make jewelry a lot of times. And I also make little tiles for mosaics when I've got leftover resin. So in this case, I am using the leftover resin to do some little jewelry pieces that I'm going to make into earrings. And I've dusted some of those spots with mica powder, and then a couple of them I did not. So at the end of the video, when I unmold everything, you'll see I'll unmold those two, and you can see how the mica powder just dusted into the mold, the effect that it has. So I'm just going to speed up through this part because it's a little tedious. If you don't want to watch me putting resin into all these little molds, you can certainly fast forward because it takes a little while. I like to do it with piping bags because these molds are so tiny, but I'm using the bigger pieces or the bigger molds versus the really, really small ones. And it's going in okay with the popsicle stick. But yeah, it's tedious, but the end results are super cool. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes since I put the cover on. I just came back to blow some air bubbles out, and just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what they're looking like. So that's the puddle pour. It's doing some interesting stuff. They're all kind of doing interesting stuff, but that one, you can see the striations are kind of starting. That's cool. This was the one that I put the clear down first and then poured around the edges. And then this one, I just poured around the edges. I did not put the clear down first. So, really curious to see how these look when they're all cured. So I will be back in about 12 hours or so. Good morning, guys. I'm back. It has been about 15 hours since I poured all of this, and it's all nice and cured. It's ready to unmold. So starting on the left, this is the one that I did the puddle pour. This is the one I did the ring pour where I put the clear down first. And then this one I did a ring pour, but I did not put the clear down. So I'm really super curious to see how these turned out. And then I used my leftover resin to do some earring pieces, so I'll unmold those two at the end. But let's get started. I'm really excited. So we'll start with the puddle pour. So you can see they all actually look very, very similar from the top. So I'm like super curious how they're gonna look underneath when I flip them over. So these molds I got from Crown Made. You can see the name on the side. They're really nice and sturdy molds. This is the first time I've used them. So they come off the resin real easily. There's no sticking. All right, puddle pour. Ooh, how pretty. So that is a really super nice crackly effect. The mica powders that I use were very close in color, so there's not a ton of contrast, but that's okay. I kind of figured that would happen. I was curious to see what would happen if I used two colors that weren't, you know, like a black and a green or something. I wanted to use two that were a little bit closer in tone to see what would happen, but I really love that. I was a little concerned about the quantity of the Piñata Blanco that I had put in, and I'm a little worried on the other ones if we're gonna get some blobs on the underside. But this one turned out really cool. I love that. All right, so this is the one that I did the clear first. These pop out really nice. All right, you can see the transparent center. All right, flipping her over. Oh my gosh, that is, I think this is my favorite effect. I've gotten this on a couple other coasters, and I just love that when you get that kind of clear center, but you can see this part of it where it's not clear. Very nice and crackly. Oh, I love that. Okay, and then this one, I did not put clear down first. Okay, same transparent center. And, oh, not much going on there. And this side is kind of boring too. So, all right, note to self, always put clear down first. So we've got these two that I think turn out really, really cool. And then this one, there is the striations on the top, which look neat. I guess I would use this as the top. This is just kind of boring. I mean, you can see where I did the pores. And that brown metallic, I don't know if you can see it. It's very, very faint, like little, almost, I'm not gonna say glitter because glitter is much larger, but this has just a bit of a brown sheen. I don't see the brown metallic anywhere in either one of these, on the top or the bottom. So that completely got lost. But you can see it a little bit in this one. All right, so that is a really good experiment. That was a good lesson. I learned a lot from that. All right, let's unmold these jewelry pieces. So my plan with these, I'm gonna do like 2-part earrings with these. So I put some mica powder in a few of these. So this one I did a dusting of this, it's yellow. I can't think of what it's called. It's like a pearlized yellow. It's really pretty. And I poured the green. Oh, these are still a little bit soft, so I'll have to set them, let them finish curing. So this is gonna be an earring like this. But that mica powder, it's very, very pretty, that metallic sheen that's on it. And I love the green. It comes through just a little bit. Unmold the other ones. These, I've had trouble with the little molds because you get the air bubbles in the corners. So that's why I went through with the toothpick and just touched them in the corners, because that's where it seems like the bubbles kind of sit. And so far, I don't have any bubbles in those corners. All right, so we'll see how the circles did. So this one I use like a purple color shifting mica and some black mica powder. So it's got kind of that two-toned look. And I'm gonna put that one with this oval. Oh, you can hear my dog barking. That's Peanut. She's part of Neighborhood Watch. Oh, that's pretty. So this is going to be like this. So these both have that kind of purple and black shift with the mica. It's hard doing this and trying to watch through the camera to make sure that I have it centered on the camera. It's so cool. I love mica powder. Just gives you the neatest effects. I just love painting it into these molds, and then I'm kind of experimenting with, you know, what happens if I put baby pink mica powder, but then pour red resin in it. You know, things like that. Just having a ton of fun just playing with, oh, this goes this way. Just playing with the different kind of results that you get, because the color of the resin does show through. It does have an effect on what you see. So, all right, then these little brown guys, I didn't do anything. I didn't put any mica powder, but there might be some residue. So these, I was just thinking would be just like nice bronze discs. Oh, that's pretty. Almost looks like wood. I'm always trying to find fun ways to use my leftover resin. I hate wasting resin. Oh, that's going to be a really nice set. Very pretty. Okay, and then this last one I'm really curious about. I put just the green mica resin in, and then I took a little bit of the Blanco and kind of swirled it in there. So I'm really curious to see if anything happened on the underside. Not really. I did have just a bit of mica powder in the mold, so you can kind of see that little sheen on the side there. Same thing on this one. So this is a nice set. All right, so got everything unmolded this morning. Just so happy with this coaster. Like, that is stunning. So pretty. Not quite as pretty, but still interesting. And then, meh. All right, well, thanks for going on this journey with me. If there's any experiments that you want to see done, if there's anything you're curious about or wanting to try, just put it in the comments. I'm always looking for fun things to do with resin. So I hope this was useful and helpful. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. My handle is @Tifton Studio. So thanks again for watching. Have an awesome day.